Anarchist from Colony, directed by Lee Jun-ik, is a film review for Korean 3415. It was released on June 28, 2017, marking 7 years since its release. It stars popular actors like Lee Ji-hoon as Park Yeol, the main male lead, and Choi Hee-soo as Fumiko Koneko, the main female lead. The supporting roles in the film include Kim In-woo as the Japanese minister Mizuno Rintaro, the main antagonist, and Kim Jun-han as Japanese judge Tatemasu Kaisei, a dynamic character. The film brought in $5.9 million USD during its opening weekend at the box office. The film won the Best Film Award at the First Seoul Awards. The film was also nominated in many other categories and film awards, resulting in wins in other categories. Before Park and Fumiko's story begins, Korea was annexed at the end of the Joseon period by Japan. As a result, Japan imposed harsh rules that were meant to wipe out Korean identity and suppress the population from basic rights. The frustrated Korean population started independence movements like marches and protests, which also resulted in censorship, imprisonment, and torture. It also saw the rise of anarchist groups consisting of both Japanese and Korean members that advocated to diminish Japanese authority and colonial rule. The anarchist group in this film was called Budohe, which both main characters were a part of. The main characters were also real people. Park Yeol was born in 1902 and was a vocal critic of the Japanese colonial government. Fumiko Koneko was born in 1903 and had strong views in feminism and social justice. They fell in love and were involved in anarchist activities. In summary, the movie is set in colonial 1920s Japan, which shows the anarchist group plotting to bomb Prince Hirohito. The scene changes to depict the Kanto earthquake of 1923 where the city is left devastated. Minister Mizuno, a bitter man wanting revenge for the March 1st movement, spread malicious rumors of Koreans poisoning wells and committing arson when none of them were true. The Japanese people responded by carrying out the Kanto massacre, which resulted in the unjust deaths of 6,000 Koreans residing in Kanto. To cover up the massacre, the minister turns to Park's group and their scheme to bomb the prince. Park and Fumiko are both arrested for treason. However, they turn the trial into their favor by mocking the government and urging the people to change their perspective of the emperor and his family to create a more equal society. They also argued that the trial was being used to distract from the tragedy of the Kanto massacre. Using their love and determination, they were able to make their point. I think this movie teaches 3 important lessons. 1. The fact that there were Japanese supporters that were against Japanese colonial rule in Japan. In the film, there was a Japanese lawyer who was known to do multiple cases for Koreans pro bono, and he was supportive in Park's case. We also saw multiple Japanese members in the anarchist group other than Fumiko. While there is a heavy focus on mistreatment and brutality of the Japanese towards the Koreans, we have to remember that there are 2 sides to every society. Second, it teaches the importance of a female voice in activism. Fumiko, a Japanese woman, was ready to advocate for her views of equality and feminism. Even when Japanese society looked down on her, she wasn't deterred from her goals. Along with Park, she was able to make a difference even if she had to endure torture and humiliation from her own people. It shows that women aren't limited to being behind the scenes or just partners for activists. Third, it highlights an important part of a movement that aimed for Korean independence. The film educates on the hidden aspects of history, such as the massacre, making it important to honor those who lost their lives to ignorance and hatred. It also shows that personal relationships strengthen a cause instead of hindering it like many people assume. The film shows the real picture of Park and Fumiko at the end, showcasing the strength they take from each other while marking their place in history. Overall, everyone should watch this historically accurate film to gain an additional perspective on an overlooked part in both Japanese and Korean history. Personally, I think the actors and directors do a great job of showing the raw emotion and horrors without sugarcoating any aspect of it. It educates and inspires people while telling a compelling love story, allowing the viewer to have such an enriching experience.